A kilometer from the surface, beyond the reach of the sun, a giant black void, larger than all the rest of the world's habitats combined. The deep seabed may at first appear lifeless, but it's home to a unique caste of mud dwellers.
Hidden beneath the waves lies a world most of us will never see. A place where sunlight vanishes, pressure becomes crushing, and life takes on forms that seem impossible. But what if I told you there are creatures down there that produce their own light to become invisible? What if there were fish so black they absorb nearly all light that touches them, making them vanish, even under a spotlight? And what about animals that live for over 400 years in complete darkness?
Scientists discover a new species lurking in the depths of the Southern Ocean.
As we journey deeper through the ocean's layers, from the sunlight zone down to the twilight zone and into the midnight zone, the creatures become stranger with every meter we descend. Here's something remarkable. We've sent robots to Mars and mapped galaxies billions of light years away, yet we've explored less than 5% of our own deep sea. We actually know more about the moon's surface than what's happening 6,000 feet below our ocean's surface. Today, we're diving into this alien world to discover the incredible life forms that have adapted to survive where nothing should be able to live. You won't believe what we've found down there. The sunlight zone. At the ocean's surface, the water is bright and teeming with life everywhere you look. Sunlight penetrates the upper layers and fuels massive blooms of plankton, which feed small fish, which in turn feed larger predators. This creates entire food chains that stretch from colorful coral reefs all the way to massive whales. This is the ocean most of us know from documentaries and beach vacations, warm, bright, and full of familiar marine life. But drop below 200 meters, and everything begins to change. The light starts fading rapidly, and we enter a completely different realm, the twilight zone, where darkness begins. Welcome to the twilight zone, a vast layer of ocean that extends down to about 1 kilometer deep. Here, the sun's rays become too weak to support photosynthesis, the process plants use to turn light into energy.
At the beginning of photosynthesis, there's an explosion of energy, like at the source of a river. Extracting the energy from this stage has proved impossible so far.
This means the thick forests of plankton from above begin to disappear. There are no plants down here, no green algae, no energy being created from sunlight. Instead, food arrives as a gentle shower from above. Tiny particles drift downward constantly, fragments of plankton waste, and the remains of dead creatures that have sunk from the surface. Scientists call this marine snow. To us, it might look insignificant, just specks floating in the water. But to the creatures living in the twilight zone, this falling debris is everything. It's their main source of food and energy. And where there's food, there's always life. Just not life as we typically recognize it. Masters of invisibility. The animals here have evolved into some of the strangest forms found anywhere on Earth. Many are completely transparent, with bodies that look like they're made of glass. The glass squid drifts through the water with its organs barely visible, appearing like a ghost against the dark blue backdrop. The glass octopus is so clear that it's almost impossible to see. Only its eyes give away its presence. Why so many species here have evolved transparency remains one of the ocean's great mysteries. It might be an incredibly effective form of camouflage, allowing them to vanish in the dim remaining light. Or maybe it's a way to save energy in a world where producing skin pigment costs more than it's worth. The light makers. Other creatures have chosen the opposite strategy. Instead of becoming invisible, they create their own light. In this perpetual gloom, many animals produce a glow through a chemical reaction called bioluminescence. To human eyes, bioluminescence is absolutely beautiful. Flashing dots, glowing patterns, entire bodies flickering like underwater lanterns.
You're seeing very abundant organisms. So they're microscopic organisms. They're single-celled, they're called dinoflagellates.
But down here, light isn't decorative. It's survival. Some creatures use their glow to lure prey closer. Others use it to find mates in the vast darkness. And some, surprisingly, use light to hide. This clever trick is called counter-illumination. When predators look up from below, they can easily spot a dark silhouette against the faint light filtering down from the surface. To avoid being seen, animals like the firefly squid cover their bellies with light-producing organs. They adjust the brightness to perfectly match the glow from above, erasing their outline completely and vanishing into the background. It's camouflage by imitation, making light to disappear into light. Other species play even stranger games with light. The bloody belly comb jelly glows deep red. At these depths, red light never penetrates from the surface, so the jelly appears completely black to predators. Inside its transparent stomach, any bioluminescent prey it's eaten stays hidden, concealed from other predators that might otherwise spot the telltale glow. In a world defined by light or the lack of it, every adaptation comes down to one question: who can be seen and who cannot? The greatest migration on Earth. But the Twilight Zone holds more than just clever tricks with light. It also hosts one of nature's most spectacular events, though most people have never heard of it. Each night as darkness falls, billions of creatures rise from the depths. Lanternfish, squid, jellies, and countless other deep-sea organisms climb toward the surface to feed on plankton under the cover of night. At dawn, they sink back down, vanishing into the gloom where they spend their days. This massive daily movement is called diel vertical migration, and it's actually the largest synchronized migration on Earth, greater in numbers than all herds of wildebeest, all flocks of birds, and all insect swarms combined. Yet despite its enormous scale, this event remained completely hidden until World War II. During the war, naval sonar operators kept detecting something strange, a mysterious false seabed that rose every night and sank every morning. At first, they had no idea what they were seeing. It wasn't the ocean floor at all. It was life. An entire invisible world of billions of organisms moving together in a rhythm that's older than humanity itself. The Twilight Zone is where the familiar rules of life begin to bend. It's a place where transparency becomes armor, where light is used to hide rather than reveal, and where billions of animals rise and fall in an ancient daily rhythm. This is just the threshold, the first layer of a deep ocean world we still can't fully explain. The Midnight Zone. Eternal darkness. Past 1 kilometer down, all sunlight disappears completely. We've now reached the Midnight Zone, a realm that stretches down to 4,000 meters. Here, there's no dawn, no dusk, only endless night. Temperatures hover just above freezing, and the pressure is hundreds of times greater than at the surface. To us, this seems like a place where nothing could possibly survive. Yet it's precisely here that evolution becomes most creative. Hunters of the dark. Take the dragonfish, for example. Unlike most deep-sea creatures, it can produce red bioluminescence. To most eyes down here, red light is completely invisible, which makes the dragonfish's glow work like a private spotlight. It illuminates prey without giving itself away. Even more mysteriously, the dragonfish's eyes are specially adapted to detect this hidden red color. It's as if the dragonfish has invented its own secret wavelength that only it can see. Other predators here are masters of disappearance. Some fish are covered in ultra-black skin, so efficient at absorbing light that it reflects less than 0.5% of whatever touches it. Even when a spotlight from a submarine shines directly on them, they almost completely vanish. And then there are the anglerfish, perhaps the strangest hunters in the entire deep sea.
Finally tonight, some marine researchers were out looking for sharks the other day off the Canary Islands, where they found something quite unexpected.
Have a look at this. This is a humpback anglerfish known as a black sea monster.
The female dangles a glowing lure right in front of her massive mouth. drawing in unsuspecting prey. But the anglerfish's greatest mystery isn't how she hunts, it's how she reproduces. Male anglerfish are born tiny, weak, and essentially helpless. Their only purpose in life is to find a female, which is nearly impossible in the vast, dark ocean. When a male finally does locate a female, he latches onto her with specialized jaws. Then something truly bizarre happens. He begins fusing his body permanently into hers. His organs gradually wither away until he's reduced to little more than a living sperm sac, permanently attached and nourished by her blood. It's one of the most extreme forms of reproduction known anywhere in nature. Scavengers and survivors. Not every animal here is an active hunter. Some are scavengers, patiently waiting for food to fall from above. When a single whale carcass sinks to these depths after dying at the surface, it becomes an absolute feast, feeding entire communities for decades. Even with our modern submersibles and technology, what we know about the Midnight Zone remains incomplete. For every species we've documented, scientists believe dozens more remain undiscovered. Each dive brings back creatures never before seen, animals with glowing eyes, needle-like teeth, or bodies so fragile they literally fall apart when brought to the surface. This is the Midnight Zone, a world where light is a weapon, where invisibility means survival, and where even reproduction follows rules beyond our imagination. The abyssal plain, the ocean desert. At 4 kilometers down, we finally leave the open water and touch the bottom. This is the abyssal plain, one of the largest habitats on Earth, covering more than half the planet's surface. Yet it's also one of the least understood. Down here, there are no landmarks, no coral reefs, no kelp forests, no towering mountains, just a vast desert of mud stretching for thousands of kilometers in every direction. Temperatures never rise above 4 degrees Celsius. Food is incredibly scarce. Survival here demands strategies found nowhere else on Earth. Giants of the deep. One striking adaptation is size. Many animals here are giants compared to their shallow water relatives. Giant isopods, which look like enormous pill bugs, can grow to the size of small puppies and scuttle across the seafloor. Amphipods, normally tiny shrimp-like creatures, can grow longer than a human hand. Even the colossal squid, one of the largest invertebrates alive, is thought to prowl these depths. Scientists call this deep-sea gigantism, but why it happens remains a mystery. Some think larger size helps conserve energy where food is scarce. Others believe it provides better defense against predators. The truth is, we still don't know for certain. Whale falls. Another burst of life arrives when giants from above die and fall. A dead whale sinking to the abyssal plain becomes an incredibly rare jackpot. Within hours, scavengers gather: sharks, hagfish, amphipods. Soon after, stranger creatures arrive. Bone-eating worms called osedacs colonize the skeleton, feeding on oils locked inside the bones. Entire ecosystems spring up around a single carcass, lasting decades until nothing remains. Other animals survive on less dramatic meals. The vampire squid, despite its frightening name, isn't a predator at all. It collects drifting particles of marine snow using long, sticky filaments. Even in these oxygen-starved depths, it thrives using a blood pigment with the highest oxygen affinity of any known cephalopod. In this desert of silt and silence, life moves slowly. Creatures grow slowly, reproduce rarely, and live for centuries. The Greenland shark, which can dwell at these depths, may live over 400 years, the longest lifespan of any vertebrate we know. Time itself seems to move differently here. And yet even this seemingly barren desert isn't empty. Each grain of sediment hides countless microbes, recycling nutrients and sustaining a hidden food web we're only beginning to understand. The abyssal plains remind us of Earth's true scale. They cover more territory than all forests, grasslands, and deserts combined, yet remain largely unseen, unexplored, and unexplained. The Hadal Zone, Earth's deepest frontier. Beyond the abyssal plain lies an even deeper frontier, the ocean trenches, carved by tectonic forces over millions of years. These are Earth's scars, places where one crustal plate slides beneath another, dragging the ocean floor down to unfathomable depths. Here begins the Hadal Zone, named after Hades, the Greek underworld. It stretches from 6,000 meters down to the deepest known point on Earth, nearly 11,000 meters below the surface. To put that in perspective, if you dropped Mount Everest into the Mariana Trench, its peak would still be more than a mile underwater. Life at the bottom. Conditions here are almost beyond comprehension. Temperatures stay near freezing. Pressure can exceed 1,000 times what we experience at sea level. To an unprotected human body, it would be instantly fatal. And yet life doesn't just survive here, it thrives. Among the most astonishing creatures are the snailfish that live at the very bottom of trenches.
It's almost 8,000 metres below the surface of the Pacific Ocean, somewhere off the coast of Peru. A new type of smiling fish has been discovered. It's officially called a snailfish.
They're fragile and gelatinous, with thin, translucent skin. They look far too delicate to exist in such a hostile world. Yet they're the deepest living vertebrates ever discovered, thriving where no other fish can survive. Their bodies lack rigid bones, and their cells are reinforced with unique molecules that keep their proteins working under crushing pressure. Other inhabitants are smaller, but no less remarkable. Amphipods swarm across the trench floor in huge numbers. Recent studies found plastic fibers inside their bodies, proof that even these most remote places on Earth are touched by human pollution. It's a sobering reminder that the deep sea isn't as isolated as we once thought. Chemosynthetic life. At hydrothermal vents along trench walls, life takes an even stranger turn. Here, microbes don't feed on sunlight or marine snow. They feed on chemicals spewing from Earth's crust. Hydrogen sulfide, methane, even metals dissolved in superheated water. Entire communities of worms, clams, and crabs depend on these microscopic pioneers. It's a food web based on chemistry, not photosynthesis, showing us that life can exist in conditions completely alien to the surface. These discoveries raise a bigger question. If life can adapt to such extremes here on Earth, couldn't it also exist on other worlds? Icy moons like Europa and Enceladus hide oceans beneath their frozen surfaces, warmed not by sunlight, but by internal heat. Studying the Hadal Zone gives us a glimpse of what extraterrestrial oceans might contain. The unknown depths. Despite its importance, we know almost nothing about the trenches. Fewer people have visited the Mariana Trench than have walked on the moon. Each dive brings back creatures unknown to science. Translucent sea cucumbers drifting like parachutes, gelatinous blobs with no clear anatomy, microbes whose metabolism remains a complete mystery. For centuries, humans imagined the trenches as lifeless voids, silent graves beneath the sea. What we've found instead is resilience. Life that bends, reshapes, and reinvents itself to endure the most extreme pressures imaginable. Mysteries that remain. For all we've seen, the deep sea remains a world of questions. More than 80% of the ocean is still unexplored. Each dive, each robotic expedition brings back creatures never before imagined. Transparent fish, glowing worms, jellies that break every rule of biology. It's a world where discovery isn't rare but constant. Even among the animals we know, so much remains unsolved. Why do so many deep-sea creatures grow to enormous sizes? The giant isopods, the colossal squid, the amphipods the length of a human hand. What drives this trend? Why do others turn nearly invisible or cloak themselves in ultra-black skin that absorbs almost all light? Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is bioluminescence. Nearly 3/4 of deep-sea life produces light, yet the reasons vary wildly. Hunting, hiding, mating, or simply surviving. We still can't explain how many species evolved such complex chemical systems. or why some glow in colors no other animal can even see. There are deeper puzzles still waiting to be solved. For now, these mysteries remain without clear answers. But perhaps that's what makes them so powerful. They remind us that Earth, our own planet, still holds profound secrets. Secrets worth protecting from pollution and destruction. Secrets worth discovering for generations to come. The deep sea isn't just a dark void at the bottom of the ocean. It's a frontier as alien as outer space. Yet it's right here beneath the waves. And the more we explore it, the more we realize how much we still have left to discover.